So we talked a little bit about the gathering places of the dead, and there was one in particular that was a place with water and light also, where the souls of the righteous dead were stored. But we're going to talk a little bit now about, in the interest of looking up, I think I'll probably categorize this entire series I'm working on now as one called Look Up. And that literally means to look up. If we look east, looking east, the rising of the sun, that's looking over. And then from the east, looking upward to the north, that's literally, quite literally, looking up. And it is from the east and the north that news will trouble the Assyrian. And I think it's also important that we look at the motion of the star Regulus in the western sky in the springtime of the year during the nighttime. And those two respective gatherings, returns, if you will. One as a thief in the night, and the other, of course, at the second coming to lay waste and decimate and to, with the angels, gather up the elect from the four corners of the earth and to destroy and lay waste the enemies of our Father in heaven. He judges no man, but he instead assigns judgment to the Son. First, the son of perdition, the man of sin, the son of destruction, who is an instrument of chastisement, and we're not to fear him. And then, of course, righteous judgment from the rightful king who comes from the east and the north to destroy the wicked, the Assyrian, willful king of the north. And I saw in those days, this is in Enoch chapter 61, verse 1, I saw in those days long cords, hashtag cords and bands. Long cords were given to those angels, and they took for themselves wings and flew and went toward the north. I think we've discussed multiple times on video that the word north in Hebrew comes from an earlier Ugaritic Sapan, which means, which is a reference to a specific mountain in the north in Syria. But also cosmological north, even the North Pole of Saturn, where that six-pointed star is, which Enoch assigns to the location that is the fifth heaven. And it is at this location that in the fifth heaven where Satan and his messengers are bound, confined, if you will. Now they accuse us before the face. The angel of the presence, or the angel of the face rather, is the one that is Phanuel, from the same root, panim, which means face. And that angel chases off the adversaries as they accuse us before the throne in heaven. And but their abode, to where they are largely confined presently, is the fifth heaven. Hashtag fifth heaven. Hashtag Satan and his messengers. And I asked the angel, why did these take the cords and go? And he said to me, they went so that they may measure. And the angels who went with me said to me, these will bring the measurements of the righteous and the ropes or cords of the righteous to the righteous, so that they may rely on the name of the Lord of spirits forever and ever. And the chosen will begin to dwell with the chosen, and these are the measurements that will be given to faith, and they will strengthen righteousness. And these measurements will reveal all the secrets of the depths of the earth, and those who were destroyed by the desert, and those who were devoured by beasts, and those who were devoured by the fish of the sea, so that they may return and rely on the day of the chosen one. And the chosen one is the righteous king, who is also a warrior priest, seated at the right hand of power. For no one will be destroyed in the presence of the Lord of spirits, and no one is able to be destroyed. And all who are in the heights of heaven received a command and power and one voice and one light. Received a power and one voice and one light like fire were given to him. And that one, before anything, they blessed with their voice, and they exalted and glorified with wisdom. And they were wise in speech and in spirit of life. And the Lord of spirits seated the chosen one upon the throne of glory. The psalmist says it this way: I have set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. And the Lord of spirits seated the chosen one upon the throne of glory, and he will judge all the work. This is before, guys. This testimony is before Messiah was even raised up and seated at the right hand of power. The Lord of spirits seated the chosen one upon the throne of glory, and he will judge all the works of the holy ones in the heights of heaven. And in the balance he will weigh their deeds. And when he will lift up his face to judge their secret ways according to the word of the name of the Lord of spirits, and their paths according to the way of the righteous. In the apostolic writings, it was the priests who believed in the way, which is the way of righteousness, the way of zadokah, or the way of righteousness, the sons of Zadok. And it was those priests in Acts that understood the way of righteousness, understood the proper testimony of Enoch, who were the ones that were considered upright. And some of them believed on Messiah because they knew who to look for and what to look for and where to look for, and knew what he would be heralding and what he wouldn't be heralding, and knew that he loved Jerusalem, but Jerusalem, the city, the mother city, would not receive his testimony properly. The city that stones the prophets then, and the city that will rejoice in the very near future as proper testimony is established by two witnesses, both on earth and in heaven above, even at every layer of heaven. Just like Enoch was taken to each of the layers of heaven, and at every step of the journey, his testimony is affirmed by multiple witnesses as the testimony against you, sitting here idle down below, scoffing and mocking at his own eyewitness testimony, as many in religious circles do. In that day they will speak with one voice, and bless and glorify and exalt and sanctify the name of the Lord of spirits. And all the host of heaven will cry out, and the holy ones in the heights, and the host of the Lord, the cherubim, the seraphim, the Ophanim, which means many-eyed ones, like we find discussed in the canonical sources, and all the angels of power, and all the angels of dominions, and the chosen one, and the other host who are on the dry land and over the water on that day. Did you catch that? The host that is over the dry land and on the water. That should conjure up or bring forth a recollection of Genesis chapter 1, where we are told what man has dominion over, and he was not given dominion over the heavens, but he was given dominion over the land and the seas. And so our air power and our air superiority in the West, and our aircraft carriers and the strength of our own arm and our own might are not going to be something upon which we can rely, because 42 months before the matters are settled unto righteousness, there's a battle in heaven, and the adversary and all his messengers, who have been given dominion there for a season, will be cast down out of the heavens and will aid the beast, the antichrist, the man of sin, in attacking the mightiest nations. So again, let the Father's word be true and every man a liar, and that we will not be getting through these days based on our aircraft carriers in the Western nations and the strength of horses and chariots and a census and our implements of iron with which we thrash and destroy the earth. They will raise one voice, and they will bless and glorify and exalt with the spirit of faithfulness, and with the spirit of wisdom, and with the spirit of long-suffering, love, and with a spirit of mercy, and with a spirit of judgment and peace, and with the spirit of goodness. And they will all say with one voice, Blessed is he, and blessed is the name of the Lord of spirits forever and ever. And all who sleep not in the heights of heaven will bless him, and all the holy ones who are in heaven will bless him, and all the chosen who dwell in the garden of life, hashtag third heaven, and every spirit of light, hashtag paradise of Eden, and every spirit of light that is able to bless and glorify and exalt and sanctify your blessed name, and all flesh that in excess of power glorifies and blesses your name forever and ever. For great is the mercy of the Lord of spirits, and he is slow to anger, and all his deeds and his mighty acts, as many as he has done, he has revealed to the righteous and the chosen in the name of the Lord of the spirits. In 62 verse 1, it is the chosen one who, and that's really the focus of this series. I'll just read it. And thus the Lord commanded the kings and the mighty and the exalted and those who possess the land. And he said, open your eyes and lift up your horns if you are able to recognize the chosen one. There's a special blessing for those who are looking for him at his coming, who are awake and vigilant and watchful and sober and found faithful and not sleeping, so that he doesn't come as a thief in the night to them, because they're vigilant and watching. And the Lord of spirits seated him upon the throne of his glory, and the spirit of righteousness was poured on him. The spirit of righteousness. Elsewhere it says he is the Son of Man, adorned with the righteousness of the head of days. It is the Father's righteousness upon him with which he is adorned. See, that's how the glory gets back to the source of it. And the word of his mouth will slay all the sinners, not with the hand, not with the implements of iron and the bombs and the barrel bombs and the innumerable hordes about to pour over the northern border, not by the work of the hand, not by might, but by his spirit, says the Lord. That will slay the wicked by the spoken word of his mouth and destroy them at the splendor of his coming. For the coming of that lawless one, as Paul stated, is according to and in tandem with the working of the adversary and all of his messengers. And they will bring with them every power, sign, and lying wonder, and the wicked will worship the host of heaven, those in Judea even, and Jerusalem, being unfaithful, will of course worship the host of heaven, having previously lusted after even the sun, moon, and stars. But the word of this mighty one, this king that the Father above chooses, will slay by the word of his mouth all the sinners, and all the unrighteous will perish from his presence. And there will stand up on that day all the kings and all the mighty and the exalted and those who possess the land. They'll be raised from their places of comfort, and they will see and recognize that he sits on the throne of his glory, and righteousness is judged in his presence. Of course, the sheep will be placed on the right and the goats to the left, and no lying word is spoken in his presence. It's common in the White House, now faltering. And pain will come upon them. There'll be more discussed about this later, as birth pains on a pregnant woman, or as a woman in labor. When the child enters the mouth of the womb, even a man-child, we'll talk more about this, as in a night when a male child is born, and even a holy convocation and solemnity is kept. When a child enters the mouth of the womb and she has difficulty in giving birth, and one group of them will look at another, and they will be terrified and will be cast down with their faces. And pain will seize them when they see that Son of Man head first coming. Head meaning the word Rosh, first meaning word Rishon, and that first quarter is in the east, as Enoch stated, which is where the rising of the sun is, and that is where the tribe of Judah was stationed, to the east of the tabernacle at the rising of the sun. And the kings and the mighty and all who possess the land will bless and glorify and exalt him who rules over all, who was sheltered and hidden. For from the beginning the Son of Man was hidden, and the Most High preserved him in the presence of his might. And he revealed him to the chosen, and the congregation of the chosen and the holy will be sown, and all the chosen will stand in his presence on that day. Oh, happy day.